What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Toyota GR Supra and the Mazda MX-5 Miata. Is the Mazda Miata the perfect baby Supra? Now, I have already made the video of the literal baby Supra, which is the Toyota GR86. If you missed that video, take a look down below in the description. However, in that video and in several other videos, a lot of people have mentioned the Miata because if you're looking for a Supra but want a more affordable version, 30 to 40 grand, half price to 20 grand less than a Supra, you can get a Mazda Miata and even gain that drop top experience that the 86 isn't going to offer. So today, since we have the Miata for about a week to take a look at, let's see how it compares to a Supra. If you want a Supra but want something on a better budget, is the Mazda Miata the best way to go on a budget? So taking a look at some of the performance specs on the Supra and the Mazda Miata, both cars you can option with a 6-speed manual transmission. You can also get a 6-speed automatic on the Miata and an 8-speed automatic over on the Supra, and these are also rear-wheel drive. Now under the hood of the Miata, you're going to get a naturally aspirated 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine. It has 181 horsepower with 151 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 time is going to come in around 5.5 to 6 seconds, depending on transmission. Now over on the Toyota GR Supra, this car is going to have the 3-liter inline turbocharged 6-cylinder motor. This one pumps out 382 horsepower with 368 pound-feet of torque. Now this car's 0 to 60 can be around 3.8 to 4 seconds, certainly a big step up. You're also going to notice the Supra weighs in around 3,400 pounds, while the Miata is actually closer to 2,500 pounds. Now moving on to exterior styling, of course both are very different looking. The Miata is a much smaller car. Wheelbase is closer to 90 inches. It is definitely a compact, sporty car. You still have that longer front end. This one's the RF, so you got the retractable folding hardtop. You can also get a soft top on this as well. But it's a sporty car, has good lines, good angles. The Supra has a wheelbase around 97 inches, and it is noticeably a much larger car. This one, very mature styling, I think, super sporty. I mean, both cars are great looking for what they are supposed to be, and they kind of match the heritage of each car. Supra's got a lot of really nice curves to it. You're also going to find a set of Brembo brakes on the Supra. It is worth mentioning the Miata does have available options with Brembo brakes and more performance. So styling wise, subjective which one you think looks better, but even just walking through you can tell the Miata is a little car. It is a compact, but still nonetheless you got some great sporty lines to it and much more mature grown-up curves on the Supra. Taking a look at the interior with the Toyota GR Supra, of course this has a lot of BMW in it given it is built by BMW, but you're going to get a nice design for the bucket seats with the synthetic leather material, carbon down below. Of course we have your drive mode select, traction control, infotainment system controls. Climate control is in physical form, and you do have a nice infotainment screen up above with the touch screen aspects to it. So pretty cool design overall. You can see an LCD gauge cluster with the tack right in the center, a few other vitals, but overall nice place to be. Visibility, definitely a very low slung coupe, but nonetheless you can get used to it pretty well. It's not the worst seeing around the Supra, but nice seating position, plenty of room at 5'11", and a pretty decent view around. And then now in the Mazda MX-5 Miata, this one does have a two-tone interior, which is available on the Supra. Got the nice Nappa leather along the seating surfaces. Cool design overall. Infotainment system, just like the Supra. You can see that in the center. Manual park and brake, and then you have a little bit of storage. No wireless phone charging in here. Physical controls, just like the Supra, and then a tacked-on tablet-style screen like the Supra did. Pretty nice use of materials in here. I do like the body colored in it. Leather wrapped steering wheel. Both cars will have paddle shifters for the automatics and of course the 6-speed manual if equipped. And then the center gauge cluster, a little bit more traditional with the analog design. However, we do have a screen on the far left with just a little bit of information to go through. This one, visibility, a little bit more on the cramped side. However, these windows are significantly taller, as you can tell. So really easy to see around. And of course with the top off, you're going to get miles of headroom. Over your left shoulder is a little tight with that part right there. But nonetheless, not a bad place to be, just a lot smaller on the interior. Now as far as trunks go, the Supra gets 10.2 cubic feet of volume, while the Miata has about 4.5, and the soft top or hard top does not affect that actually. So you got about half the size trunk in the Miata. We can fit about 2 or 3 smaller backpacks. It is definitely a smaller car. Supras, you can fit a whole golf bag in here, much larger with a privacy cover, so you can definitely notice that. Operation is super easy. Both cars are going to have a key fob button and then one on the interior. The Miata does get a button by the license plate, which is a great touch. I really do wish the Supra had that. It'd be quite convenient. Got some gas struts and a big hatch. And then the Miata, just the deck panel itself, very easy to operate. All right, so setting off now in the Toyota Supra, what are you going to expect when you're in one of these cars? Now, you can get it, like I said, 6-speed manual or the ZF 8-speed automatic. I've owned the automatic, I currently own the manual, so I've been in these cars quite a lot with both transmissions. In the normal drive mode, you're going to notice this is a really refined car. It's a BMW at the end of the day. It drives really smooth and very comfortable. I mean, this literally feels like a luxury car. The seats are great. At 5'11", I sit here really, really comfortable. And I know tons of Supra owners drastically different in size than I am, and everyone seems to fit pretty darn well. So it's a comfortable, luxurious feeling sports car, and it just drives like that. So that's a really nice touch. Everything is in a good reach. The ergonomics I find to be really nice, and it's a quiet driving experience. Really just can't complain. Now, when you toggle this into sport mode, you're going to get stiffer suspension, stiffer steering, the exhaust gets louder, the engine tuning gets a little more aggressive as well, and it becomes, honestly, one of the greatest handling sports cars. When you're taking some turns, I mean, it is really light on its toes. It's lighter than other sports cars in this particular class. So while it weighs a lot more than a Miata, I mean, it is so nice taking turns. It just hooks so well. Going in the mountains with this car, it's super flat taking those turns, and even in sport mode, it's not an abrupt ride, so it's not crazy harsh or anything annoying like that. It is a fun sports car for sure. Definitely has quite a lot. As we warm it up a little bit more, turning circle on this car isn't too bad. You know, being rear wheel drive, honestly pretty darn tight. And then, of course, visibility, everything, backup camera, parking sensors, they all work pretty good to where I don't see an issue with the visibility. Easy over your left. From this powerful engine, it is so smooth. The B58 is a BMW 6-cylinder, one of the best turbo engines out there, and it is effortless in the power delivery. The Brembo brakes bring this thing to a stop. Easy to rev match if you don't want to have it automatically do it. It is a very well balanced performance car. It is high enough level to where it feels like not a prestigious car, but it's up there. Not quite on the level of a Porsche, but for 60 grand when a comparable Porsche is gonna be close to 100 grand, this thing is just awesome. It is a really, really good sports car, great for daily driving. You are gonna have a blast. It has enough power to keep you on your toes. You don't even need to floor it all the time because it just gets up to speed so well. Yeah, not many complaints. It is a fantastic sports car. I might sound biased because I've owned multiples of them, but pretty much everybody who has driven one will say the same thing. This is one of the best sports cars money can buy. For 60 grand, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's also something that anybody can aspire to own. A very easy car to work towards. And man, this thing is a heck of a lot of fun. Turning around to the Mazda MX-5 Miata, one of the first things you're going to notice, this thing is small. It is a very tiny interior. To me, coming from being used to the Supra, this does feel a little on the cramped side. I really wish I could scoot the seat back like another inch. My knees are very close to the steering column and the dashboard and everything. So it's a smaller car. Not everybody is going to like this. Now, one of my friends has a 6-speed manual Miata. I've driven that a little bit. It's a heck of a lot of fun. The Supra's manual, really high quality feeling, really notchy, amazing. The Miata's, I'd say, is pretty darn good as well. I'd say maybe a little bit better than a GR86, so it still does have a little bit of that economy car feeling to it, but it's a pretty good manual. Now with this one, we have the 6-speed automatic. You can bump it into a manual mode. There is sport mode, which really just makes the throttle a little bit more touchy. It doesn't really do all too much. Normal driving, this thing is pretty comfortable. You do hear a little more wind noise. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's a little noisier than the Supra. I wouldn't say by much. The seats generally are comfortable. They're very padded. I just feel like I'm a little cramped. I want to recline it a little bit farther. So comfort levels aren't quite the same, at least from my perspective. Performance. This thing is not a fast car, and while it's only 2 to 3 seconds slower than a Supra, that makes a pretty big difference. That's like 40 to 50% slower. That's full throttle. It does not push you back in your seat. It's not fast. However, this car weighs nothing, even smaller wheelbase. This car is so agile. It is so much fun to take the turns. And when you are up and going, it does carry its weight really well. If we go ahead and do a turnaround, I should be able to do this almost one turn. I mean, this thing definitely is super tight. Smaller backup camera, not quite as good as graphics, but being a smaller footprint, it of course is super easy to pinpoint. Full throttle from first. So yes, you're not gonna get the same super powerful, put you back into your seat performance like the Supra. Makes sense though. But what you are gonna get is a car that handles so well. It's not as flat in the turns, there's a lot more body roll. You can feel the car rolling from side to side. Just doing that, I mean, it does a lot of that. But it grips so well. It doesn't weigh much, so it's a car that's really confident. And you can just basically pedal to the floor all you want, drive it like you stole it. And it doesn't have the speed to where you're gonna be breaking the law, getting triple digit speeds. The Supra, you can pretty easily, especially with the automatic, hit 100 miles an hour. I mean, that thing is so snappy with the paddle shifting that it's a fast car. This doesn't have that. Even with the automatic, it's a little on the sluggish side to shift. It's nowhere near as precision focused like the ZF8 speed, but it doesn't necessarily need to be that precision of an automatic because it's not that fast. But with this car, the handling is a blast. It's so fun to take the turns, and it's a car you can just have a lot of fun with. Even this car with the standard brakes, they do a great job, honestly. And if you option it with the Brembos, which we took one of those Miatas to the tail of the Dragon, and we had a blast. It was so much fun. That same day, we did have the Supra on the tail of the Dragon, and I think the Supra and the Miata were our favorite cars. The GR86 we also liked. It's a little flatter than this in the turns, and you can get it a little bit more tail happy. But if you want a car that handles on rails, just like the Supra, this is the car versus the 86. The 86 is more tail happy, more fun to drift and play with, which is awesome. But this car handles on rails, stays planted. It does sway a lot, but man, oh man, it is an absolute blast. Another cool thing, this is a convertible. Whether you get the soft top or the hard top, you can drop the top and enjoy the endless headroom. My one complaint, you have to be going less than 6 miles an hour to operate the roof. I think it's way too slow. It should at least be like 20 miles an hour. I think that would just make a heck of a lot more sense, because at 6, that is like slower than parking lot speed. I'm still going too fast. There we go. So you basically got to come down to a standstill to operate the roof. You know, it's a little impractical. You can't do it in reverse either. So pretty much you got to pull off or somewhere to do the roof. A lot of other convertibles, you can at least be in slow speed traffic, which makes some sense. But with a drop top, you get a really cool experience that an 86 isn't going to offer. It'd be cool if they made a Targa Supra like the Mark IV. I think that would be pretty well received by the audience and the market. So after driving in the Mazda Miata alongside the Toyota Supra, is this a baby version of the Supra? In a lot of ways, yeah. If you're not looking to spend $60,000 on a brand new Supra, 30 to 40 grand for a fun drop-top rear-wheel drive car with a manual or automatic is a pretty nice deal. Now, if you are looking for the perfect happy medium, of course, the BMW Z4 is the perfect blend. It is the Supra underneath, same chassis, same engine, but you get the drop-top experience. And it drives a little bit more like a GT car like the Miata versus a sports car in the Supra. So the BMW Z4, pretty cool way to go. Now they're pushing like 70 grand, and even on the used market, the Z4s have actually kind of tanked a little bit. You can get the M40i for closer to 40. So honestly, a used Z4 M40i or a brand new Miata, I think I'd go Z4 just to get the extra power and the refinements. But if you are strictly looking brand new, you know, the Miata is a fun alternative to other more expensive rear-wheel drive cars. Comment below, what do you guys think? Would you go for a Miata over a Supra if you want to save $20,000 to $30,000? Or would you go for the literal baby brother, the 86 and BRZ, or maybe pick up the Z4 to get a perfect blend? Anyways, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next video.